I think it's time we do some brainstorming for 2024 goals. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. My name is Tracy and I am a girl with plans. Before I begin, I want to thank you all for taking time out of your day to press that play button. It really does mean a lot, and if you're not yet subscribed, I would appreciate it if you would consider hitting that subscribe button. All right, as I said in the intro of this video, that today we are going to be diving into my 2024 goals. I have decided to create a goal setting series where I will have multiple videos kind of focusing on my goal setting process. And a disclaimer, this is a new goal setting process for me. I have not done this before. Previously, what I have done is on New Year's Eve, every year, or New Year's Day, if I was running behind, I would sit down with a piece of paper and write down my goals. And I would kind of, a lot of those times they were kind of based on what I think I failed at the previous year. And I would make them my goals for the new year. So that's kind of how I used to do it. And this year I wanted to try a little bit of a different tactic. I mean, who knows? I still might come out with some similar goals. We'll see by the end of this process. But I kind of wanted to start thinking a little bit more in depth about what I want to achieve in my life. Where do I want to be this year? What do I want to be at the end of next year? Maybe 5 years from now, things like that. So that's why I decided to kind of do this type of goal setting process. We'll see if I succeed at it or what. I am taking bits and pieces from things that I have seen from Moxie Life, from the Cultivate What Matters power sheets, and like other goal planning systems like that. A lot of this you will see is kind of similar to Moxie Life. I'm just putting my own little spin on it to make it easier for myself, because I don't like doing hard stuff. If you have been around, I'm kind of lazy sometimes, so I need things simplistic as possible. All right, let's go ahead and talk about what I'm doing as far as brainstorming and why am I brainstorming before I do reflecting. So typically you start your reflection process and look at how the current year has gone for you, and then you start kind of brainstorming your goals. I don't want to do that just because I personally did not do a good job of reflecting weekly or monthly. I really didn't do that at all this year. And I find that when I don't do that, I tend to only remember a lot of my failures or challenges, and those wins and my improvements and things like that kind of get lost. So I'm nervous that if I start reflecting and I can't remember some of those wins from the year, is that going to kind of hinder or taint my 2024 goals? I don't know. So I figure what I want to do is I just want to kind of have a clear mind where I'm not reflecting yet. I'm just kind of looking ahead. I'm going to put ideas on the page. I am going to put anything and everything that I can think of that I may want to do or accomplish in 2024. They may not be all goals. They may be just to-dos. They may be bucket list items. I don't know. I'm just going to write. And when I finish writing, it's not going to be the end. This is going to be I guess what you call a living document, because I can continue to add to it. I can continue to add to it throughout the year. But I will literally be adding to it after I reflect. So when I reflect, if something else pops on, I'll just go to these pages and add to it. And when I say throughout the year, it's because my goals could change. Something could pop up and I'm like, ooh, let me hurry up and write that down, because that's something I kind of want to do now for personal growth. So come March, I might come in here and write it down. So that way, when I go to set my goals for April, I can look at the sheet again to evaluate some of the things that I wanted and then add that to my goal list. So that's my process. That's why I'm kind of starting this brainstorming now, because I just want to start brainstorming. Brainstorming is going to continue until I actually create those goals. And we'll see if this is a good idea or not. As you can see, I have decorated my pages because I have been really into watching TV lately, like Squid Game's The Challenge. Like, love that show. My type of reality TV is that kind of reality TV. And while I'm watching that show, I like to like do thoughtless decorating. So like I don't want to like fill out my planner. I just want to put stickers on a page. So that's why I've decorated these pages. And with that said, I've also went ahead and created categories. I was up in the air about creating categories. Initially, I did not want to create categories. I just wanted to throw anything and everything on paper and then go back and try to create categories based on what was on paper. But then I'm like, ugh, is that gonna like make my head like explode? So I'm like, you know what? I'm pretty sure everything's gonna fit into certain categories, and those categories, as you'll see, are extremely similar to a lot of the goal setting systems. I'm gonna go through my categories and then you can see all the cute decorations as I do that. So the first one is personal growth. That is personal growth and development. So that is things that I want to do to better myself, not necessarily professionally because that has its own categories, but just, like, do I want to read self-help books or something like that? Any type of thing that can make me a better person in general. Fun and rec. I think that's self-explanatory. Financial. That is self-explanatory. I'm only going to explain the ones that might have a different definition than what other people might, like these. So I have social and I have relationships. I'll start with relationships first. Relationships are going to be my relationships with my family and relationships with my friends, as well as maybe even my relationship with myself. Right now, I am not in a romantic relationship. However, if I entered a romantic relationship, that will likely go here as well. But in the meantime, dating or anything like that goes here under social because they're not relationships yet. It's social. So that's kind of the difference as far as relationships goes. For social, like I said, it will be like dating and things like that, but it will be actually socializing. I need to get out more. I do not like being uncomfortable, and being in social situations is very uncomfortable for me. I need to kind of learn that it's okay to be uncomfortable and kind of push through it. So I need to get out more. I need to socialize. I need to get in those uncomfortable social environments. And when I say uncomfortable, it's only uncomfortable because I'm an introvert. It's not an uncomfortable, like, unsafe environment. It's just, if I'm like, first of all, I struggle going, I cannot even imagine going like into a social setting by myself. So that to me is 100% uncomfortable. But like, even if I go with someone I know, if they know people and I don't, I get extremely uncomfortable. So that's kind of what I mean. But I need to be okay with that because sometimes good things can come out of putting yourself in those situations. So that's kind of what social means. I just need to socialize. And also, like I said, includes dating and things like that. Physical health, that is what it is. That is, getting my lab work in order. That is exercising, nutrition, and things like that. And then mental health, obviously, is kind of what that is. Home, that's physical. What do they say? Physical environment. I think that's what a lot of the goal setting things say. So yeah, physical environment. Home improvements, things like that, things that I want to do for my home. And then work and learning, I put that actually in the back, and you see I really didn't even get to decorating that because this is probably the one thing I'm not going to focus as much on this year. I feel like I am in a decent place there. There is always room for improvement, but I feel like there's so much in these other categories that needs improvement that this is the one where it's just going to be like, okay, I feel like I do an okay job when I kind of set my mind to something for like work specifically, I get it done. Like I said, I can always better myself. So I'm going to throw some goals on here. I just don't know that you're going to see them as much when I do like weekly action plans and things like that. All right, so how this video is going to work is I am going to just start writing down some of these goals, or some like brainstorming some of these goals, or some things that I want to do that I feel is related to these specific categories. I am going to speed up this process because I don't want to talk while I'm writing. And I will just do a voiceover to kind of explain some of the things that I'm writing down. All right, guys. So let me go ahead and get started. All right, so we're going to start with personal growth, which is always a little hard to kind of think about. Even though I've already said what my definition for it was, it seems to be hard to try to find things to go into that category. But then it was like, oh, I need to focus on routines. I've really been slacking when it comes to setting routines and sticking to routines. So I think in the end, that's going to be kind of the base for a lot of my overall goals. Plus, I need to focus on my daily planning, weekly resets. I need to read, and I need to be more intentional with my time. Okay, so now we're going to move to fun and recreation. And yeah, I really want to travel. That's all I ever want to do, right? I love traveling. I don't do it as much as I want to. I don't have any 2024 trips set in stone. I have plans in the works, but I need to make them happen or else they're not going to happen. I probably need to make them happen actually before the new year. But yeah, that is a big goal of mine. I also want to get outdoors more. I want to go like hiking, go to parks, go to festivals, things like that. Also want to do like live entertainment, concerts, shows, fun things like that. Explore my city. Oh, the list goes on and on. This one probably could last a long time, but I just need to do more stuff. And that brings us to finances because doing stuff ain't cheap, right? And I'm okay with spending money on experiences. And I even note that here because I do want to reel in my spending, but that is going to be more in the category of like stuff. I don't want to buy as much stuff, but I'm okay with spending money on experiences. I also really need to get a move on with my Roth IRA. That's been a 2023 goal. So I'm pushing that now to 2024. Now, when it comes to social, most of what I said when I was going over the definition is pretty much what I'm writing here. I need to like schedule outings. I need to get out of my comfort zone. And I need to maybe even go on a date. Now, relationships. So when it comes to my family and friends, I want to spend quality time with them and I want to have experiences. So not just like visits and things like that. I want to do stuff. Like, can you see a theme going on here? So definitely want to do that. I also want to reconnect with those who maybe I haven't talked to in a while. I need to make that a point. And all in all, I just need to make time. Now, when it comes to my physical health, you'll see here that I have a lot of things that I want to do. This has been on my mind for a while. So first and foremost, I need to get my thyroid numbers in order. That's on the top of my mind because I just had a doctor's appointment. They aren't horrible, but I think if they are optimal, then I will feel better and then everything else will just fall in line. That's my hope. So that's going to start mainly with nutrition, and that's why I need to get that in gear. So like that whole top left side of the page is all nutrition focused. Then of course there's movement. I need to like move my body. I need to like increase my daily steps, which is kind of hard to do in the wintertime, but I need to figure out how to make that happen. I definitely want to increase my cardio endurance, my overall strength, my flexibility, all that fun stuff. I also need to stretch. That has been a major thing I've been wanting to like work into my daily routine in 2023, and I just haven't done it. So I need to make that a priority in 2024 because I just feel like that will make me feel better as well. And mental health. This is the first time I've actually had mental health as its own separate category, but I think this is something that needs its own category. A lot of these things were in like personal growth prior to that. So I need to journal. I need to focus on self-care. And I need to incorporate that into a routine, and I need to kind of treat myself. There we go again. That's really like, don't hold back sometimes. It's okay to spend money on yourself every once in a while. And now when it comes to home, a lot of the things here are going to be my home projects, things that I need to work on to like fix up my home or fix up the outside of my home and things like that. I also need to kind of pinpoint and write down a cleaning schedule for the daily, weekly, monthly, and seasonal. And I need to do a home maintenance schedule so that way I can kind of coordinate any kind of appointments or things like that from like outside contractors. Yeah, all that fun homeowner stuff. And finally, there is work and learning. So the first thing I put on there, learn Spanish. I did so well with that for the first 6 months of 2023. So I need to get back on track. And then I just kind of wrote some things that I've been thinking about with both my 9-to-5 as well as for social media, and kind of threw that on here. And I was kind of surprised of how many things started flowing onto this page. All right, guys, so there we go. I think I have done my initial brainstorming. It actually went a lot faster than I thought. You can see what I did when I did like the offshoots of the one is kind of where I started almost thinking of like things that I need to like prioritize or even action steps with it. So I've already done some of the work. What I think I'm going to do after I fill this up is I will take a fun little highlighter in a matching color and I will highlight what I think are like the goals. So that way it kind of draws my attention to it. Pretty much everything on here is pretty much a goal. So I'll just highlight them. It doesn't necessarily mean they'll make my goal list, but it'll just, because I have like, especially let's say, where's my, there we go, like this bad boy. There's just a lot of stuff on here. So I need to go through and like draw my attention to like the central thing. Like this is like balanced nutrition. And then I kind of talk about like mindful eating, portion control, meal planning, meal delivery, grocery pickup. I kind of just started throwing out options. That's how my brain works. I might even have to do another page for physical health. I don't know. But actually I probably need to reel this in a little bit because this is a lot. But yeah, that's kind of my game plan. I think this is a good start. Like I said, what I plan to do is kind of simmer on this, add things to it, because you see there are a lot of them that are pretty bare. Although some of these I don't really think needs a lot, like for relationships with family and friends. Some of the stuff that's in some of the other ones, like fun and rec, would probably qualify of things that I can do with those families and friends, you know? So I don't know. That's kind of where I am. Some of these are not going to be filled up, and that's perfectly fine. The goal is not to fill it up. It's just to kind of write down everything that's on my mind. So I'm going to continue to work on this. The next step will be the next video when I start doing some more reflecting. If you did see my setup video, then you know that I took some of the pages from the dreaming section of the Go Getter Girl planner. So that's kind of their goal setting section. That's what they kind of refer to it as. I took those out of that planner and put it in my goal planner. I'm going to kind of work on that. There's like a letter to yourself that you can write in that. And then there are some like Moxie Life printables that also have some kind of activities. And then what I did is I wrote down a lot of the Moxie Life questions for reflections, and I plan on going through those as well. A lot of that stuff, what I'll probably end up doing is doing it before I film it, and then I'll go over it while I film. So that way you guys can like see the questions. So that way if you wanted to kind of write the questions down yourself and answer those types of questions to help your goal setting, then you can do so. But a lot of that is going to be taken from other programs that I have seen, or just things that I thought would be like a good question to like add to those programs. So, or good question to add to reflections. So that's my plan. I hope you guys are enjoying this series so far. Like I said, it did just start. But yeah, we'll go to the reflecting, and that's also going to include kind of like a look back at my 2023. And then I'm going to start getting into kind of narrowing things down and start kind of putting goals into place for 2024. So this isn't going to be a super long series. It's just I have gaps in between so that there's time to kind of think on it. All right, guys, that is all I have for today. I do hope you are enjoying this content. If you are, please hit that like button. And as I mentioned, if you're not subscribed, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel. All right, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video. And I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night. Until next time, bye.